live.
You
All
are
right,
live here with Clark Garrison of Survival Radio Network.
man, I
I'm
got to
such
get
an
me one of
idiot.
those voices. I got to get me
You
one
know,
of those voices. What we got to do? Start over or something?
I do
All right, hey
voiceovers.
guys, right? And we'll talk about that too. Hey guys, we are here. Thank you so very much. We haven't had one in a while, but we are at our Saturday afternoon, 10 a.m. for you guys on the Eastern Standard Time. We are here for our training and information Google Hangout Survival Radio Network. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. For those who are listening to the playback, thank you as well. A quick announcement before we dive right into today's training or information that we're going to talk about. Dr. Richard the Gladiator Johnson just eclipsed his 53rd show. Well, he went on to his 53rd show last night, so of course that means he's been on the network, Survival Radio Christian Network, for over a year. So shouts out to him, and had a great show last night. For those who missed it, his topic was, what color was Jesus? My Lord. So you know he went all the way in on that. By the way, if you haven't checked this show out, shame on you. It comes on Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is a wealth of information, and we really need to support our members. And I guarantee you'll absolutely love his show. So big ups to Dr. Richard the Gladiator Johnson for being with our network for over a year, and we look forward to what he's going to be bringing for the next millennium. I don't know. We'll say that. Also, let me go to my little notes here. Make sure I got this right. Where am I? Also, today, oftentimes we're actually very pleased to say that we've got several shows coming aboard over the next 45 days, and we have one coming on today. Actually, today at 1 p.m. for you Eastern Standard folks, and I believe 10 a.m. for her. Urban Connoisseurs Wine Talk with Marsha Jones will be featured here on the Survival Radio Network. Very excited to have Ms. Jones aboard, and I encourage everybody to show up, support her. 1 p.m. I believe she's on the SRN 2, so that's 347-989 989-8385, or you can just click the link on her page, of course. Shouts out to you. It's going to be a great show. She's a true wine connoisseur. It's going to bring all kinds of information and sommeliers and wine experts and foodies to that program. So thank you so much for coming aboard, and we're excited about today. So without further ado, I want to transition to a gentleman that there's only, let me start counting. There's probably 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's just about it. There are 3 people that if I'm caught in a corner, or if I really don't know the answer, or if I really want to whine about how my radio day isn't going like I thought, or my program is not going like I thought, or something technical is not going like I thought with the program, that I reach out to, and this young gentleman, this young old gentleman, no, I'm just playing, is certainly one of them. He is the founder of the D 103.3 WLUV radio station, and has been a radio personality on many shows on that station. Again, over 6 years in the business, and I want to bring aboard the one and only Ramone Garrett to the show. What's up, Ramone?
What's going on, Clark? Man, how you doing this morning?
I'm just sorry I didn't have any applause meters, so let me manufacture. There we go. There we go.
I don't have my switchboard loaded up to do that.
All right. Hey, by the way, guys, I got the Q&A loaded up. So if you got questions, you can just hit the Q&A section. It's a little screen to pop up. Just type in your questions, or I'll try to look. Email, text me, some kind of way, send me some questions as we chat. Ramone, I wanted to bring you aboard, man, because sometimes it's better to hear things from an outsource. People sometimes hold it more valid, and they take like, oh, wow, he said the same thing, so it must be true. not to say that you and I are going to say exactly the same thing, but we've been down the similar path, so we've experienced a lot of the same things. And you've been very kind to allow me to come on some of your training exercises and talk about my experience. So I know we're on this, where you stand on a lot of these things. But I just want to hear it from your context and your. We've been doing this a little longer than I have, so I know you have that vantage point that I like to say the eagle's vantage point, which can see a lot further than maybe the land animal who's running around thinking the sky is on fire. So first of all, Ramon, how did you get started in radio, man? What's that story about?
I remember it was my son is 6 years old, so it was 6 years ago. I was 6 months from graduating from college with my degree in music education and ethics philosophy, and I was going to school. Every year I have a hard time getting my financial aid, and this one year had to be 19. It had to be. No, I'm so old. 1990. It was 2008, and I was walking into the school, and I heard every year I have a hard time with my financial aid, but this year was really, really hard, and I was ready to graduate, get my certification to teach music and all that, and I remember I heard God clear as day saying, because I can play the piano, I can play the drums, I can play the organ, but I couldn't read music. So I went to school at drumline is the thing that changed my life, because I was that kid. So at 27, I decided to go back to school and study music. So at 31, I heard God clear as day tell me, I didn't tell you to go to school.
Oh, wow.
And I said, and God don't repeat himself that often. So I had to go back and tell my girlfriend, my 6-month pregnant girlfriend, now wife of 5 years. I said, God, we gotta get ethnic. God told me not to go to school no more. And she said, what? And she wasn't saved then, so she knew all the 4-letter words then. She still know them, but she knows Jesus now. So I was on my way. I said, my mother always said my greatest gift was not music, it was my ability to communicate. So it's this great school here in Michigan called Specs Howard School of Broadcasting. I actually signed up. It's a 1-year program, and I was going. I was all ready to go. And a friend of mine brought to me the idea of Blog Talk Radio. And I said, you know what? I'd rather do that than sit in the classroom for 1 year, And what happened was at 30, if I was to do it at 25, I would have failed a long time ago. I would have failed. But at 31, 32, I sat there and I planned it out. And I had this 1 hour a week show called The Morning Praise Show. And I would sit there and I would talk to people, pastors. See, I'm in Detroit. This is Gospel Central, sure. And my pastor is probably the greatest gospel singer of all, Marvin Winans. So I know all the great, I play for all the great singers and musicians. So I will have them on my show. So after 6 months, they're calling me. The Kurt Franklins, the Fred Hammonds, the John P. Keys, they're calling me to be on my show. I never went to them. So that 1 hour show turned into a 3 hour show, 1 hour a week show turned into a 3 hour a day show. A day in 1 year. In 1 year.
Wow.
And it was amazing. I was thinking about it because this past Tuesday, and I promise I'm not going to cry, was my 6-year anniversary. And I celebrated by myself because I didn't want people thinking it's all about me. Yeah. So then after doing that, the Morning Praise Show for 2-3 years, I took a step back and I was doing what you're doing. Bringing on, I always say true success is not gaining wealth or success, it's teaching others how to get it.
Sure.
So I had to throw that rope back over the fence and bring other people, and I brought other people with me. But then I missed that itch of talking. So then it was the Ramone Garrett show, night show, and now I'm doing Ramone in the morning because I love to talk, and I like to poke people. and that's what I think about when I was in the shower when I was getting prepared for this. How I love doing this. And the one thing is, I've always say the internet has made it so easy for us to be successful.
Yeah.
You just have to stop, and I'm going to use the L word, have to stop being lazy. And you can do it because I haven't worked a 9 to 5 in 5 years. and all my bills are paid. I own properties. I'm about to buy a building for the studio. I'm about to buy a building, So if you do it right and listen to Clark, Charvette, Catherine, Julie, Ramone, you can do this. You just got, and this is not a 9-to-5 job. It's a 9 to 9 because you always working. Always. And I probably sleep maybe. I'm 40. I just turned 40 a few months ago, and I got 3 babies. And I maybe get 4 hours of sleep, maybe, because this brain is always working. So that's why I look when I get in trouble. He said he calls me. When I get in trouble, I call Clark. Hey, big bro, I need your help, man. He like, all right. Clark would drop everything. I'll call you back. He'll drop everything to talk to me, and we'll sit there and we'll talk for hours. So
So let me ask. Let me sneak in. How important is it to have someone who knows what you're doing, is traveling that road? How important is it? Could you imagine doing this journey without anyone to talk to about the problems or issues or hurdles that you've got?
No. The first 2 years, because like you, I don't know if you went to broadcasting school or not.
I did.
Okay. I'm a musician and a songwriter. That's what I do. But I listen to a lot of radio. And when I first started, this was still new. Yep. Online radio was still new. So that we're basically writing the playbook, the manual for all of this. But then when I met you, met Catherine, met Julie, Stephanie, me and you and Stephanie would sit on Saturday mornings. We would sit there and talk for hours. You got to have that mentorship.
Yeah.
And do I think my ideas are better than y'all's? Some are not. But if I didn't have somebody to go vent to and be like, okay, Clark, how's this? And Clark would tell you, man, don't do that one. It won't work. And then I don't get offended. And Clark ain't been doing it longer than me. But he is the one who's a little bit more closer. He's on the top, but he took a different road, to get to the top. So I have to go pick his brain. But I cannot imagine doing this without having some kind of mentorship and sounding board. No, absolutely not.
Hey, it's one of the reasons why we started. I know it's why you started your station, why I started my network. But you started a group, and I want to make sure everyone knows about it on Facebook. Can you talk about the group, why it's there, and what are the advantages of being in that group?
The group is called the Blog Talk Facebook Directory, and the reason why I started, actually, I stole the idea from Stephanie Thomas of Atlanta, Georgia. I stole her idea and I just made it work a little bit more better because she actually started the group. And this group, the whole purpose of this group is to prevent the newbies to go through the hard issues that Clark, Julie, Stephanie, Charvette, Catherine went through. It is there to teach the newbies how to be great cyber broadcasting personalities, producers, and networks. This group is imperative to all blog talk. All them other renegade joints, I ain't worried about them. Do what y'all do. But this group is imperative to teach the newbies step by step to prevent the situations and incidents and stumbling blocks that we had. Because I ain't got to share nothing. I ain't got to share nothing. But I empty out my cup in that group for y'all can be successful.
And you also have further training. What is it? Once a month?
Yes, it is.
Okay. What nights do you have that training?
It's the first month. It's the first Monday of every month at 9 p.m. And I encourage everybody to be in that because everybody comes to Clark and Ramone for questions. Okay, how do I do this? How do I do this? How to do this? How to do this? This group is for that. The training session is for that. Every question, and for those who's in the group, it's just all about promoting advertising. Shame on you, because when you do ask the questions in our inbox, you're not paying attention to where we're answering your questions in the seminars, in the training session, because that is the purpose of that. And in order to go further, you have to be taught. You have to sit down and learn. And I just sit and listen. I got my notepad now. When you get to talking right now, I'm gonna be writing stuff down because I need to get better. Some of my stuff I used 6 years ago, I can't use now. I can't use it. So I always have to stay relevant. I always have to stay relevant.
So you've been at the game 6 years. What drives you? What makes you still want to be better? And how are you grounded? Because you would think, man, you've been doing this so long, it's old hat. You don't have to learn anymore. You don't have to get any better. But I know you, and I know you constantly are looking to get sharper, and you want iron around you so you can get sharpened. So tell me how at 6 years you still are able to stay relevant and fresh.
I reinvent myself. I have the quiet storm, and then I hate to say this, it's a friendly unknown competition.
Yeah.
I listen to Clark.
I like that. I like that.
I listen to Clark. I listen to Stephanie. I listen to Catherine, and I'd be like, man, they doing it. That's what keeps me fresh. It's the friendly competition. I'm like, okay, I gotta outdo them, and I love it because it keeps me grounded. Because do I think I'm better than anybody? I ain't gonna lie. I'm better than a lot of them. You know, I'm better than people. I'm better than people that's on FM now. CBS Radio been calling me for the last 2 months, and I said no, because I'm not working for nobody. I'm not working for nobody. I'm working for myself. And my wife said, "You crazy, but I know how your craziness get us paid." So I'm like, "Thank you." You know, but in order to stay hungry, eat full, let your food digest, and go eat again. And that's how I stay hungry. You know, I work hard because I want my children to see what I'm doing, and I want their kids to be successful. I have that Henry Ford mentality to where I want my family to be successful for the next 200 years. That's my mentality.
A question came through for that training, and by the way, that training is on Wednesday, right?
It's on Mondays. Monday.
Oh, Monday. Okay, what's the number for that training? Call or and let them know if they're in the group where they can find it.
I don't have the number on hand right now, but it just go to Blog Talk Facebook directory group. Type that in your search on Facebook, and if you are a BTR host, producer, or network, we will accept you. If you just a fan and a follower, can't have you. This exclusive club, you know, just for the 1% of on BTR hosts and the ones who are learning, who wants to learn. It's good to advertise and promote and all that, but you have to be willing to learn. You know, because if you asking us questions, you're not paying attention. You know, yeah. But it's every first Monday of each month, 9 p.m. So if you go to the file section of the group, you will see it, and what we're talking about, who the instructor will be for that evening.
And by the way, shouts out to Catherine, who I know is the heartbeat for you and keeping that up and running, and she is amazing in and of herself.
And yeah, she was on my show. She was so jealous. She said, "Oh my God, Ramone." She was on my show yesterday, and she said, "I did not know you do it like that. It is so professionally ran." You know, I don't have a studio. I sit right here at my kitchen table. My guests be over there if I have a guest that day. And she's like, the promos, the sweepers, the bumpers. Nobody taught me how to do that. I taught myself how to do that. And she's like, "Oh, I need to step my game up." I said, "Better catch up."
Well, that's that friendly competition, right? I mean, we all see
exactly
that you know, because I still listen to your shows, and I tell my people all the time, man, you gotta listen to other people's stuff. You can't be in this vacuum thinking that your show is the only show that matters. You gotta check out others. One, because you'll find out what not to do. Two, you'll find out some little tidbits that you want to bring on to your platform.
And that's the thing I want people to understand, because I listen to a show. I pay $20 a month on cable each month. Don't ask me why. I do. But I listen to more blog talk shows than anything. Everybody that's in that group, I listen to their shows, and I'd be like, that's why I started the on-air etiquette 101. We gotta teach people how to be on-air personalities. It may not be F and the AM, but you still gotta sound professional. You know, it's not a three-way phone conversation. You gotta know on-air etiquette. And I love listening to other shows. I don't have to listen to nobody, but I do, because it keeps me grounded and it keeps me hungry. and it keeps me working hard.
Yeah. Yeah, there are some beasts out there, and every now and then you'll find or hear something that you're like, I gotta add that on. I remember when I first started. Did you do this, Ramone? I started like the way I listen to, say, the Oprah show or Ellen or any other radio show. I used to listen for the content, and now I listen for like cues, like
Yes.
inflections, what types of questions are asked. Do they talk when the person is talking? When do they respond? And like that's what's important to me now, is like really understanding the context. So let's jump into a specific here. How did you learn to be a good interviewer?
I listen to a lot of radio. I listen to Anderson Cooper, even though a lot of people don't agree with him, Bill O'Reilly. I listen to the Rush Limbaughs, the Imuses, to learn how to do an interview, because the one thing is, and I hate to say this, and I'm not calling nobody's name out, and they've been in the game for a minute on BTR. Okay, I have a couple of questions. That the way you and I talk on the phone, that's how your interview should be. You should always have, yes, Elijah. I'm healthy. Okay, give me 10 minutes. I love you. I love you too. Okay, I love you. I knew that was gonna happen. But how I do the way we talk, but you always have to remember, once again, it's the morning show with Ramone Garrett right here on your favorite online listening station. I have President Obama, who has been out of office the last 2 years. You have to know how to do them cues. You got to know how to do that. You got to do your station ID, because you don't want your interview to sound like it's just a straight up three-way phone conversation. You always got to do that.
Okay, Ramone, what are cues? Talk about what cues are.
Okay, cues are your station IDs. Reminding one, look at me. One, it's not a phone conversation. It is a interview. You're on the radio. You got to do that. It's the morning show, 646-595-2083. Calls on the We Love hotline. Also hit us up. You got to do that. Because I hate to say this, because of Steve and Ricky and Russ and all of them, they expect you to be like them. Don't be like them. Use their content, but don't do what they do. God gave them that gift, okay? But you got to know how to do your cues. You got to do I call them show reminders. We're talking about the incident. We're talking about the aftermath of Baltimore and what's going on in Baltimore. And look, can I make a quick footnote? For those who have weekly shows, don't talk about what everybody's talking about. Find that back 700,000 other radio stations are talking about what you're talking about. Find that back channel, backstory, dialogue, and demographic to talk about Baltimore. Talk about, for example, you know what I mean? Because you're at a tremendous disadvantage for the weekly shows. Tremendous disadvantage. Because it's not when me and Clark was growing up. When we watched Jordan growing up, we went and got the paper the next day. When A-Rod hit that 660 home run, it was already on ESPN.com. So you have to find them back channel stories. Come from a different angle. But you got to remember to do your cues. You got to remember to do that. Got to. Very
Amen. I mean, okay, so for those who don't know, because I've heard you say it, and I know what you mean. What do you mean by a three-way phone conversation?
You know what? The other day I was talking about but and then we were talking about this and talking about that. When you're talking like that, that's a three-way. It's me and Clark and some other and your listeners. And that sounds like a phone conversation. When you do your cues, once again, it's the conversation with Clark Garrison right here on Survivor Network Radio. I'm talking to Oprah Winfrey, 2 years removed from doing the Oprah show. Excuse me, give her a call at 313-643-5102 or hit us up on Twitter. Those are the reminders that what people are listening to, the content of the show. When you just talking, be like, when do we get in this conversation? You got to do those reminders.
Excellent. All right, so we're in the topic of being a better interviewer. So, Ramone, how do you prepare for an interview? Do you just wake up and 5 minutes before the show, you just let it roll, or is that a process for you?
It used to be a process. It used to be a process. I how can I put this? It's the 5-minute thing with me. I don't write my questions out no more. I just ask them questions that they would never think about. You know,
Mm.
because they hear the same question over and over and over. I had Howard Hewitt on last week, and I said, Howard, what song you sung that you knew you was the man? You know, I didn't ask, you know, I said when you was with Jody and Jeffrey, and I always forget Jeffrey Daniels because people all forget his name, the real inventor of the moonwalk. For y'all who don't know, who really invented the moonwalk. And I said, when did you know when you got your first Grammy nomination? How did you feel? And he was like blown away. He was blown away. He said, wow, nobody never asked me that before. So with me being a left-handed, right brain, ADD kind of person, I pick up my next question from the way he answered. I never write my questions down. That's how good I am. I hate to say it. That's how good I am. Like, no disrespect to your watchers right now. 2 weeks ago, I had Carmen Hayes on, for all the men who know who Carmen Hayes is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I had her on the show. And I said, Carmen, is it hard for you to date? And she bust out laughing. I said, because every man in the world in the dark side of Jupiter seen you naked. So what is it like going on a date with Carmen? What's like going on a date with Carmen Hayes? And she was dying laughing.
Wow.
Dying laughing.
Did you say Jupiter?
Yeah, on the dark side of Jupiter. I said, because everybody's seen you naked and we see what you can do. But I said, right. What is a date night like with you, with Carmen Hayes? And she, after the interview, she called me. She said, Ramone, I never heard nobody ever ask me that before. You are hilarious. And I said,
yeah.
Carmen Hayes, I love you. You're my best. You're my favorite.
So I know for newbies, right? Because we've all been there. Everything we're talking about sounds easy. Yeah, we're saying it easy, but to them, a new person is still worrying about getting through the first minute to the 60th minute if you're doing an hour show, right? What's your advice for a newbie to be able to relax? Because here's the thing. The way that worked, Ramone, for you is because you were allowed to be Ramone. You weren't focusing on the ins and the outs and the cues and the this and the that. You were just being Ramone, and your personality takes over. And that's why they call them radio personalities, right? Because you're actually being who you are. You're not trying to be someone else. How do you advise a newbie to get to that point?
One, you got to have, I have to say this, you got to have breaks. You got to have breaks in your show. You got to have commercial breaks. Always ask that first question that makes that guest feel comfortable. And quick footnote, when you have these guests on your show, when you log in, not 2 minutes before your show starts, 15 minutes, when that clock hits 9:45, because I've been 6 years in the game. When that clock hits 9:45, I'm logged in. My guest calls in between 7 and 10 minutes before I go on, and I talk to them privately, and I get them comfortable. You know, I want them to be comfortable because they may be nervous. It could be Oprah Winfrey, but she could be nervous. So, get them comfortable, have them breaks, and segment your questions. Segment and never interrupt the interviewee. Never interrupt them. Never interrupt them.
Say that one more time, brother.
For those who do the interviews, never, because let me tell you something. This is the age of social media. Believe me, it will spread like wildfire. If you because your show is not about you, it's about them, and they want to be heard. So never interrupt the interviewee. Hold on. I just got no. Don't do that. You give them that when they done 1,000, and then you jump in. It's the conversation with Clark Garrison right here on Survival Network. You got to never interrupt them. Never interrupt them because your show is not about you. It's about your listeners and about the guests.
I liked how, and I'm glad you just did that. That station ID is a great way to get the conversation back on your side and do it in a way that's natural, right? You don't have to then follow up with, because you know what a lot of people will do when they're new is they'll do a laugh or they'll oh yeah, that's, you know, they kind of, like you said, like it's a conversation instead of an interview. So when you give those breaks or the station IDs or those reminders, right, the number to dial is and that kind of stuff, it then gets you more professional, more polished, and it makes them feel comfortable because now they feel like they're in a real interview.
And they got, let me say this, and I'm not bragging. I'm trying to get y'all to understand. 6+ years in the game, and I hate to say this, but my private place is the bathroom. And I sit there and I drive my wife crazy with this. I'm sitting on the toilet or in the shower and I'm talking. I'm talking out loud. And I practice. Don't do the never do that. Never do that. It sounds so unprepared and unprofessional. Well, I think you cannot do that. I hear so many people do that. Please stop doing that. But before I came on with you, I was in the bathroom sitting on the toilet, not using it, just sitting there practicing, talking. And it's hard to do a 3-hour show by yourself. I do it. Y'all do a 1-hour show by yourself a week. I do 3 hours every day. And my conversation is not boring. It's not redundant, and it's not always repetitive. Believe me, you gotta practice. Go somewhere, and I love the acoustics in the bathroom, so I practice every day, 3-4 times a day, every day.
Y'all see, everybody is saying you're crazy and they love you, man. This is why I go to this guy, because we have these conversations all the time. I mean, it's grind time. We get it in, we toss stuff out, we see what sticks. And I just want to say on live, what is this? Google Hangout. I love you, brother.
Let me say this. I'm so sick of these men that say you cannot. Clark Garrison, and hold on, because I'm not being dead serious, because I'm trying not to cry. Clark, you are my friend. You are my big brother. You would never tell me your age, but you are my big brother. And I was so afraid to come to you, ask you about your media kit. And when I came to you, you said, I'll send it to you right away. And I got it in 2 minutes. So you know why I work so hard? This is who I compete with. That's who I compete with. It's him. That's who I compete with. And now he knows. So now he be stepping his game up like damn, well, Ramone compete with me, but do you hear how professional Ramone's show sound? Yeah, but got better content. You know, that I love. When I come to Atlanta, I'm 40 years old and I've never been to Atlanta. And I have so many friends.
Wow.
I have so many friends I went to high school with, because y'all know I live in Detroit, but I'm really from Buffalo, New York. And I have so many friends. I was going to go to Clark, Atlanta when I was 18, but I broke my leg and they wouldn't let me play football. So,
wow.
But Clark is my inspiration, and I'm not lying. And I'm saying because he's on camera. He is the one who inspires me to be better, because he's one, my older brother. 2, he's my sounding board, and stuff me and him talk about personally is between me and him, and I know I'll stay with him. So that's why I love this man. I'm in love with this man. I'm very masculine man. I'm in love with Clark, and that's why I work so hard for him to be proud of me. And I'm trying my best not to cry. I want him to be proud of me. That's what I want. That's what I want. I want my every day. I say I want, because Clark listened to my show, and I said I want Clark to be proud of me. And when I F up, he'll let me know. He will let me know. So I'm letting y'all into our private conversation, but he'll let me know, Ramone, you shouldn't have said that. You going too hard on these folks. And I appreciate that, because that's love. That is pure love. When people don't co-sign your bad behavior, when they tell you that's not right. So I want to be every day. I say I want Clark to be proud of me. That's what, and I love you, bro. God knows I love you.
Yeah, you see, now you got me going, man. You know I'm a Sagittarius. I'm emotional, bro.
Aquariuses are very emotional people.
hey, but this is how we do it, though, man. This is how we stay relevant and on top. Is we gotta feed into each other, and that's why I got you here, man. Talking to this group of people, because I value you, and I know this is dead serious to you, man, just like it is to me. And that's why I don't, there are a few people that I know I can compete against, because, man, I know Ramone, who can outwork us? Who is going to be able, right?
Jesus, the only person who can,
right,
honestly, to me.
And so when these guys are out there and they're doing all this flashy stuff, or they think they're the new hot stuff, and I got people who run and race to me and say, I got a network. I'm thinking, you don't know how hard it is to run a show, for one, let alone a station. So I don't even worry about when people think they're going to try to be our competition, because there's only a few of us out there, man, that really take this thing to the next level. And I want to talk. That's the last thing I want to go with you, Ramone. We could talk forever, but they got to go to those trainings on Monday night. What is it? How do I want to phrase this particular question? Because this is how I want to end on. How do you envision WLUV as being the best of the best? What does that mean to you, and what do you know you guys have to do to stay that on top?
To me, in order is when I'm gone. I want, when I'm gone and sit next to Jesus, I want them to say, he did it. That's when people are talking. Good example. I was getting me some food yesterday. And if y'all see, go on my page. I got this grown ass woman sucking her thumb, 50 years old, sucking her thumb. I'm sorry to be cussing. And I took a picture of it. But this woman said, I know who you are. You're Ramone Garrett from the morning show. And I didn't agree with you saying, and she was going off on me. But you know what? I'm not Frankie Darcell. I'm not Ricky Smiley. I am not Russ Parr, and I'm not Steve Harvey. But that woman came up and said, I'll listen to your show. And I don't like what you say. But you know what? You're listening. You're listening. Wow. And she said, oh, I just don't listen. I turn your app on and the whole office listens to your show. And I said, oh, really? I don't, good or bad, you're listening. You are listening. And let me say the quick little footnote before I forget, because I'm old and forgetful. For those who have FM, AM aspirations, don't do it, because you don't want to be controlled. You don't want to be controlled with your content. Those who want to create their own networks off of BTR, don't do it. It is 39.2 million people on Blog Talk Radio. If you get 1% of that for listeners, that is a lot of people. There's so many great shows and listeners on BTR. It takes a lot of work to get them people to come to listen to your network off of BTR. Y'all can go on live65.com or shoutcast if you want. You'll have 3 listeners per month. I'm telling you. I want to be on FM. No, you don't. I don't like to cuss, because I'm saved. Clark really saved. He's really saved. I'm just saying. And I like being able to speak my mind and don't give a damn what people say about it, because the more I make you mad, the more you're gonna call in. And I'm telling you the truth. I piss. You got to know your demographic. Women listen to radio more than anybody. So my talk is around what women deal with. And I talk bad about us. I don't violate the man code, but you got to know your demographic. You got to stay relevant. You got to stay on top of the news, but come from a different angle. But that's the trick. Talk about Baltimore, but talk about what's going on something else. You know what I mean? You got to be smart. You got to do your research. Got to do your work. And like Clark said, you're not going to outwork us. Because believe me, we like Eddie Kendricks. We keep on trucking. Shout out to the late great Eddie Kendricks. We keep on trucking, babe. We keep on trucking. We working. When y'all sleeping at 1:00 in the morning, we are working on the blogs, typing, taking notes. So sleep if you want. But we like cashing them cashier's checks and sponsor. I like my sponsorship money. I love it. I love it. I'm about to get it. I'm saved and love Jesus, but this strip club want to advertise on my network and give me $1,000 a month to advertise. I'll take it in the name of Jesus, where the Bible says the wicked shall supply the righteous. I don't hear nobody talking to me. Y'all know I'm Kojic. I got an organ downstairs now. I don't hear nobody talking to me. Jesus, I thank you.
Oh boy,
I thank you.
I love you, boy. Hey, thanks so much, man. Hey, from the bottom of my heart, brother. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing some wisdom and your flavor, man, with SRN. You are the bomb, brother. Get some rest, just a little bit, and let's get back out there and do this thing.
I'm about to go play some golf.
Oh, there you go.
I'm about to get 18 holes in real quick. You see, I can still hoop and tear y'all up hooping. I can still tear you up, but I need my back is killing me right now. So I'm about to play some golf for about a
Hey,
couple hours.
can we have you back next month, man?
Clark, you let me tell you this. I had plans this morning. I was gonna live in sin. But when you said I need you Saturday morning, what did I say?
You said I'm there. What time?
When Clark calls me, which is a blessing, when he calls me and asks me a question, I drop everything. He said, "Man, I need you for Saturday." I said, "I'm there.
Yep.
I'm there." And I had plans this morning, and I said, "Nope." When Clark calls, because when I call him, he drop everything for me. Why can't I do the same? And people, get y'all a mentor. Get y'all a mentor. Find somebody to talk to. If y'all want to talk to me, come talk to me. I'll help y'all with Clark's permission. I'll help y'all.
Absolutely.
If you want to talk to Catherine, but people, the newbies, please get you a mentor. Please find some ideas, because believe me, you need somebody that's sounding board and needs somebody to tell you if your idea is good or bad. And don't get offended when they tell you it's bad, because believe me, Clark will shut me down, and I take criticism. For the Bible says, chat with love comes chastisement.
Yeah.
So you need that. You need that sounding board and someone to vent to. Okay. And I do it for him. This is why I work, my son. This is why I work my butt off. This is why I work. It's for him. For he don't have to work, so he's gonna be working hard. But this is why I work. Okay. So Clark, I love you.
All right, brother.
Need me? Just call me. Okay.
You got it, man. Thanks a
Y'all
lot.
Be great. Y'all be great. Don't be good. Be great.
There you go. Ramone Garrett, WLUV on the radio, the D. They appreciate it, brother.
Anytime.
All right, guys. So real quick, let me just give you all some final things, and I want to make sure you know about the all-white entrepreneurial cruise. It's sponsored by us, guys, SRN and Rich Boy Investment. It's sponsored by you and I. We're going to start promoting this. Now, it's not until September 12th, but we need to get people on board. We need to get you on board. Let's get you signed up. Early bird registration has been extended for SRN. It's only $60. We're going to be on Lake Lanier. I will absolutely love if everybody at SRN were able to come to Hotlanta for that particular weekend and hang out with your family. We're going to be doing it big on a nice boat. We're going to take out, it's only going to be $60 early registration, and we're going to have unlimited eating, unlimited beverages, spirits for those who take in spirits. But there's limited seating. It's a boat. Everyone can't fit on a boat. The purpose of this is to gain more exposure for our network, obviously, to network as entrepreneurs, and to have fun and just, spread the good news of what we believe in, which is motivating, inspiring, and educating our listeners. So I need you all to register. All right. I'm going to be making sure that's all I'm going to be talking about next week is getting this thing registered, getting you registered. Shouts out to Jay Jackson in the house, Akina in the house, and Joyce. Those are the ones I know are hanging out with us. All of you all who have had the opportunity to be here live, much love to you as well. So the cruise, all right, we'll be talking about that all white cruise, entrepreneur cruise on Lake Lanier, 9/12/15. Guys, please help me promote this. Let's push the envelope. Let's get this thing registered, rock and roll. Let's do this the way that we need to do this so that we can remain number one. See, it's one thing to be number one, but it's even harder to stay number one. People are gunning for us. You don't know how many times I get inboxes and just notifications that, hey, I started my own network, and this and that, and just kind of like, I guess, a warning shot across the bow that they're coming for you. Listen, I could care less. I really could, because like me and Ramone was talking about, you can't outwork me. Half of y'all got jobs. So if you got jobs, you can't outwork me, because you're going to be 8, 9, 10 hours working for someone else. And the other half I believe, this is just me talking, but I want to challenge you. You're probably not as focused or disciplined. You're probably not as focused or disciplined. Now, if I'm wrong, prove me wrong. And your actions and your growth and your success will show me that I was dead wrong. Now, I'm not talking about SRN. I'm talking about those out there who are trying to be competitive or competition to what we are building here. And understand this, guys. This isn't about Clark Garrison. I didn't name the network the Clark Garrison Network. I named it Survival Radio Network because I want survivalists on this show. I want survivalists on this network. People who are have the desire and ability to inspire others to be great. That's what this network was built on. It is built on that. It is built on family. It is built on loyalty. And when we have those things together, then we can be unstoppable. But we've got to start diving in, guys, and participating and backing some of the things that we're floating out there. We're only getting bigger and better, but let's do it at a faster clip. Can we do that? So when we put out something like this cruise, when Brian and I put this out, when Mark puts his backbone into this stuff, when the leaders and the administration of SRN put this stuff out there for us, we have to be the first ones on board, not only in commitment, but in certainly in promoting and pushing the envelope to get others to understand that this is serious business for us. All right. So, oh, by the way, I want to welcome all of our newbies. We've got 8 new shows coming aboard, either SRN or SRCN, over the next 45 days. I love you all. We love you all. Welcome aboard. Um, you all should and will be assigned mentors. That's where I got that from. Being a mentor, man, you got to have it, because let me tell you something. I didn't have one. When we started back in, 2000, Ramone was 2008. I was at 2010. Let me tell you, well, yeah, 9 or something like that, a year after him. But when we started, man, Blog Talk Radio was horrible. BTR was horrible. They didn't have half the stuff they do. They didn't have half the capabilities they have now. We've watched this thing grow into a mega business. And like you said, now there's 39 million a month hanging out on BTR. All we got to do is get a percentage of that. We're almost at 1 million. I think we're at 980, a little over 980,000 as a team, not as Clark Garrison show, not as Brian Jubert show, as a team. We're going to further that cause, and we're going to really reach for, we might even reach past the stars. There might be something past the stars and see what we can grab onto. Next week, we're also going to be pushing our YouTube channel. Yes, Survival Radio Network has a Survival Radio TV channel on YouTube. There's over 300 videos there now. We're going to start pushing the envelope. We have 431 subscribers on our YouTube page, which is okay. That's it. It's just okay. We have to get to 1,000. And the only way we're going to do that is make people aware that we have awesome content. The Survival Radio Network Live Remote team has been out in full force over the last couple of months, and we have been interviewing stars, A-listers, community activists, people who are movers and shakers. This Monday, we're going to be out with the CEOs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi. All the big Fortune 500 companies are coming to an event, and we're going to be covering it and mentoring them. So, guys, this is serious business. Be serious. For all you newbies, make sure you're saying the business of the week somewhere in your broadcast. You can find the business of the week where? In our private page. Make sure you're going to the Facebook private page. It's the one with like 70 people in it only. Make sure you're going there on at least every other day basis to find out what's new, what's current. The business of the week is always pinned to the top. It's always pinned to the top. All you have to do is read it. I write it as a script. Forgive me for the spelling mishaps or if I've messed up something, but generally it's a pretty decent script. Just read it from start to finish. We need more interns. The summer is coming. We've got 2 amazing interns, Mashala and Lenore. Shouts out to you guys. They've been busting their butts. Much love to them. They are going to be rock stars soon. But we need more. So help us reach out to some of these community high school seniors or college people. Uh-oh, why is my system Are we back? Are we back? All right, we're back. Sorry about that. System froze. Who knows? All right. So, oh, real quick. SRN tips of the week. SRN tips of the week. What that is people who are, if you're a show host, engineer, whatever, you've got a message on our radio, on our TV channel. We have a tips of the week section. It's 5 minutes or less. If you feel like you are comfortable in this setting using Google Hangout, recording yourself talking about a subject or topic, you just want to give one tip in, and you're able to do that with some confidence, reach out to me. We need more tips of the week broadcasters. Okay. So I'll be putting that information up. That's all we got. I got to go engineer a show. Much love to everybody. I'll be posting some reflections of what we've got. Of course, this playback will be in there in our Facebook page and in our back office. Thanks, guys, so much, and we'll see you next week.